Welcome back to the channel. It's Rob, CDN Freight Broker. Just kind of a fireside chat. I just want to talk a little bit about the brokers, broker agents, or even dispatchers who are working with direct shippers. The people who are booking freight, the middle person where you've got your shipper on one side, right? You got the shipper over here, the brokers in the middle, and then the carrier on this side. So whomever is doing that booking, it is our responsibility. And I'll make this, I cannot emphasize it, but it's the person who's booking the freight, the middle person. It's their responsibility to make the whole process from pickup to the delivery for the driver as easy as possible. And that's where, and I'm going to make a separate video about this, but we always hear the saying, the cliche, you're only as good as your last load. And I'm going to make a separate video about that in the future, in the coming days. But today's video specifically cannot emphasize enough. If you are a broker agent, anyone that's actually booking a truck, it is our responsibility, and yes, our responsibility as a broker agent to ensure when you get load details from a shipper, because sometimes we work with small shippers and sometimes we work with very large companies with multiple departments from production, warehouse, buyers, salespeople, and there's multiple hands involved. So it's our job is to navigate all those layers and simplify it for the driver. So if you have a facility you're sending a driver to, it's our job is to find out the whole check-in procedure, figure that out. They have to stop at the gate. And also another key thing is, before we get to the whole driver procedure, often when you get an order number, you have to book your appointments. And often when you call those facilities, you give an order number and then they reissue you a new pickup number based on that order number. So when you get all these different layers happening, it is our job as the broker agent or the dispatcher to figure all this out so that when the driver arrives, always remember, whether it's a flatbed, 48, 53 foot, dry van, intermodal container, any of those things, doesn't matter. They're driving a semi truck. It's our job is to figure this out. If a customer gives you a name of something and it doesn't seem to match up on maps, we have to figure out, take the time, what is the name of the building? So if the company says, yeah, we're picking up for ABC Distributing, but the building says something ABC Warehousing or XYZ Warehousing, then we need to put on our load details on the bill of ladings and the load confirmations, ABC Warehousing XYZ Warehousing care of ABC Distribution. We want the drivers to be looking for the warehouse that matches what they're seeing behind a big semi truck. 80 foot, if they're a full 53 foot dry van with a semi with a sleeper, they're close to 80 foot length and they're not able to do 360s easy. So we need to make sure it's easy. Sometimes they give us an address, but that address actually is the front of the building or the office where the staff park. We need to figure out maybe the actual parking, the access for the trucks is on the other side of the warehouse. So sometimes we have to think all this through. We expect the customers to know all this, but sometimes they don't, or they just may forget. So we have to take the time. Don't just take an address and pass it on to the driver. Take the moment, use Google Maps. If you're in the area, drive by it and do every step in precaution as being the middle person to make the job as easy as possible for the driver. So when the driver arrives, they know, hey, when they're at the facility, there's a maximum speed limits. You might have to wear hard hats, safety glasses. Tell the driver, hey, when you check in, you have to disconnect your trailer. They're going to put a lock on the glad hands. Whatever the case is, or in some cases, I have some places where they want 4 hours for pickup. I build it we discuss it with the carrier. It's built in. They need 4 hours to load this trailer. So I educate the carrier. Have the driver have food, water, entertainment, things to do because the driver has to stay in the truck. They're not allowed in the warehouse. I have some facilities like this. So prepare everyone for this, that, hey, it's going to be a long time here. Be prepared for these. And then same with the deliveries. It's our job is to double check the addresses, find out the delivery procedures, verify the appointment times, and all along this whole process, take names, write down the names. This is why we have TMSs, Transportation Management Software Systems, so that we're documenting all this for each of our customers so that once you've done this once for a facility, you know the procedures. Sometimes they may update them, and it's always a good idea for every shipment just to confirm. Ports, another example. Just this morning, I have shipments going to a port, and I picked up it's equipment going to ports for furtherance for overseas freight. And I just found out that there was an overlap because the previous vessel that we brought equipment for hasn't departed because of weather. And this other one, they weren't supposed to start accepting it until Monday, this coming up Monday. But I went through the process, explained everything, and I got my appointments. You made sure that everyone's on the same page. I know the names of the people I spoke to. They know exactly what's happening, why we're bringing them early, why they're making an exception. And I took all that steps so that tomorrow morning, when the drivers arrive, 2 of the trucks are arriving tomorrow and the third one on Friday, there's not going to be any problems. And if there is, they're going to call me. But I've given them all the instructions and I've documented everything that I've done along the steps. So if you're a broker agent, the broker, or a dispatcher for a carrier, and you're booking freight for drivers, take the time to do our due diligence and responsibilities to make sure that every step along the way is as easy as possible for the driver so that they get in. I'm not always going to say that there's not going to be delays, but at least they don't have problems where they say, oh, we don't know nothing about this, or that order's not ready. That's our job. When we get an order from a shipper, before I book a truck, I call the warehouse. I verify they're going to have the order ready when the warehouse says, because sometimes customer service will say, yeah, go ahead and pick it up. Then you call the warehouse and they're saying, we're a day behind. We were short-staffed yesterday. We're not going to be ready till the next day. Sometimes companies, even within themselves, cannot communicate well enough. Or sometimes the real time of activities happening, some departments don't know what's happening. So once you get information from whoever gives you the order, call the people who are actually physically preparing the order, make sure it's ready before you dispatch the truck. Don't just send the truck without confirming. So take that responsibility, that level of execution, and ensure that we're doing our jobs to make life as easy for carriers as possible. And what that's going to do, that strengthens your relationship with your customers, and it will deepen your relationship with your carriers. Hopefully this helps you out.